You have no idea how ecstatic I am right now. Oh, listen, I just had a dance party in my kitchen. Yeah. We're going to talk about that in a later video of getting ready for doing any type of video content. I'm going to give you my top tips for what to do before you get onto video so that you're like loose and ready and just like ready to fly. But today's video is going to be the ultimate icebreaker. These are things that if I could go back in time, if there was someone who would have walked me through this stuff about 5 years ago, it would have saved me some heartache. And in the spirit of wanting this entire coaching course to be like your big sister who you do not have to be afraid of making a mistake in front of, but who just has gone through a couple things just a little bit ahead of you, showing you the ropes, I'm going to give you the gift of what I wish that someone would have given me. So without further ado, we have some killer content to get into today. My best advice to you is that we have your coaching course, which is this right now, and you will have one of these modules every Monday, okay? On Thursdays, we have a Q&A call, also known as a mastermind. I would fully suggest to you, and I don't know what your schedule looks like, but I would challenge you to listen to this content a minimum of 2 times. Minimum of 2 times. Now, I'm also in a similar mastermind group with other high-producing women, and when I get my coaching courses, I listen to them like every morning of the week. I designate some time. I work better moving. So I listen to it while I'm on a walk, right? Just to get it into my brain. And then I sit down with Facebook off, with no other distractions, with earplugs in or earbuds in, and I do my homework by myself with no interruptions. That is how I've pulled the most out of another coaching course, and I would highly recommend for you to find what works the best for you and try to do that. So this training every Monday, you'll probably get about 45 minutes to an hour of content to listen to. Would highly recommend. Take it with you in the car. Keep it in your earbuds. Keep it at your disposable. See, we're all human. Disposal, so that you can listen to it at will and just begin to get these concepts in your mind and working for you, okay? Because what you want is you want your mind to expand. What you'll find in today's content is I'm going to talk about some things that maybe no one has ever asked you before, but it's from a place of winning, okay? I want you to just assume that you're going to win. And we have some homework for you. It's mandatory that the homework gets turned in on Wednesday, along with your questions, because our Q&A is going to be a melding of minds. So you're going to get people who are going to ask questions and bring feedback that maybe you would have never thought of. And if you have not submitted your question 24 hours in advance, we will not be able to serve you, okay? So those are kind of the housekeeping rules. And without further ado, let's get into it, because I could talk about this stuff all day, but I'm cognizant that we have a timeline. So let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, no matter what you feel like right now, I want you to assume that you're going to win. You've invested into leveling up, and the way that I have described this type of investment is you should be investing in your training at an amount of approximately 10% of what your actual goal is. So if you have invested to get into this first month of training, right? And that first month, if you multiply that number by 10, that should be your sales goal or your profit goal. Does that make sense? So whatever number you've invested at, it would be appropriate for you to be trying to 10x that number. Now, for those of you who have more aggressive goals and you bought a longer term program, you take that number and you multiply it by 10. That would be appropriate. And so as we're going through today, and you do your homework, I want you to envision everything from a place of you've won. I want you to close your eyes and picture for yourself your dream life. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Don't worry about how you're going to get there. Don't worry about the steps. Don't worry about execution right now. Right now, it's just about you envisioning yourself at your mountaintop. What is that for you? Some of you have said free time. Some of you have said that you picture yourself floating in the ocean in like French Polynesia, Bali, right? Some of you picture yourself in an ocean hut in the Maldives. I personally picture myself in my home in the mountains with my kids, being able to work when I feel like it, and getting massive amounts of satisfaction and knowing that I've changed the world in the hours that I've worked. So first piece of homework for you, it's not really homework, it's more of dreaming. I want you to picture your dream life, because we're going to reverse engineer from there, from that space of what does it look like when you win. Okay, so I want you to take out any question about how is this going to happen and just assume you've won. Assume you did it. Assume it's accomplished. What does your life look like? And every part of the homework from today, I want you to be looking down from the mountaintop of your highest goal. And you're at the top and you're making every piece of this homework, you're making the decisions from that place. Does that make sense? So let's go to the mountaintop. You ready? First piece of homework is envision your mountaintop. I want 5 things that you see in your dream life. That's going to be specific to you. Everybody's is different. Some people it's going to be family time. Some people it's going to be trips with your best friends. Some people it's going to be taking care of your parents. Other people it's matching fast cars with your spouse. Right? For some people it's trips. For some people it's literally just loads of cash, and that is perfectly okay. As Big Sis Xtina, I'm going to tell you, if your vision is literally loads of cash, I have no judgment and I highly encourage you. So I want you to give me 5 things when you're at your mountaintop that are going to be your life. Tell me what's there, okay? So that's piece number 1. All right. So envision your mountaintop, and we are going to reverse engineer everything from the mountaintop, okay? We're going to be calculating today. This is what I wish someone would have done with me. We are going to calculate your life from an expansive place. So keep that in mind. Okay. Number 1, it is completely okay for you to picture your dream life. If there has been someone out there that told you, as someone told me when they said, what is your dream life? And I said, I would want massages every week. And they said, spoiled. And I was like, wow. And then I was condemned for saying that I wanted a massage every week. I want you to take every single condemnation word or place where someone told you that was not frugal, it was not wise, it was not practical. And I want you to give yourself full permission as I give you full permission. Whatever your dream is, it's okay. If you want a mansion and you want a Range Rover, it's okay. It's okay to not be frugal. It's okay for you to go get it, okay? So any condemnation that you might have been feeling from other people telling you what's appropriate for your life, I want you to take it and shove it out the window, and I give you full permission to freaking dream today. What's the nicest things you could ever have? What's the best life you could ever have? I want you to picture it. Get it crystal clear in your head. Your dream life. I want you to expand. I want you to break every rule, and I want you to go there. Okay? Next. Decide how many hours you'd actually like to work. Now, this is going to vary. Some people are going to say that they only want to work 10 hours a week, and I bless you if that's you. I personally really like working because I like the connection that I have with people, and it fulfills me in a way that I can never describe to you. Even becoming a mom, I fully see myself working for the rest of my life. There might be seasons where I take some time off, and that's okay, but it's in my heart to work. I love to change the world. I love to get results. So my perception of how many hours I want to work might be different from yours, and it's fully okay. You get to decide. So get your 5 qualifications for what your dream life looks like, and then we're going to decide how many hours do you actually want to work, and it can change. I just want you to put down a number. Next, I want you to think in terms of humanity, because all of this is coming from like loving big sis place, okay? So let's think about what you're actually doing in the world and how many people you actually want to help. I want you to think about it in terms of humanity. How many people do you actually want to serve? And breaking that number down, like let's calculate it down. How many people do you actually want to talk to every week? And again, this number can change. But if you had like a half an hour to an hour with people, one-to-one, on a weekly basis, how many people do you think that you could handle? How many do you think that is appropriate? How many do you think is emotionally balanced for you and is a healthy spot for you? How many people one-to-one do you want to change? How many people one-to-one do you want to help transform on a weekly basis? And I want you to write that number down. It's okay, just make a guess. All right. We're going to work from there. Just get that picture in your head. If you need an example, you're going like, I don't know. Okay, let's put it like this. I have a mentor who asked me these questions, and she said, how many people do you feel like you could handle on a weekly basis? And I know that I like to work about 5 or 6 hours a day. It makes sense to me. I know that I like half-hour time slots to talk to people. I know it's appropriate for me to take a lunch break. I know that I like to be done before my husband ever gets home from work, right? So if you take approximately 5 hours in a day and you make sure that you've got your hour of lunch break, because it's like 5 to 6 hours a day, subtract an hour to like take breaks, get up, stretch, get a glass of water, pee, whatever, to make it healthy, get up and move around, stretch it out, right? So you've got 5 hours approximately, and you've got half-hour time slots. That means that I personally, one-to-one, would like to talk to about 10 people a day. And that's a healthy spot for me. It energizes me and it feels good. I like it. Some people will only be able to manage 4 appointments a day. Like, that's enough for them. Some people only want to talk to a couple people a week. It's cool, right? And those are people who are not going to have so much one-on-one, but more groups. So just keep that in mind. One-to-one, how many people do you want to talk to every day and every week? Now, I'll tell you this. When I book my own appointments, and this is just extra information for those of you who are like, no, give me some hard numbers. Like, what do you do? What's kind of like feasible, right? So in an average work week for me, I have a lot of administrative things that I do with our brand. So I like to take 2 to 3 days a week where I actually talk to clients one-on-one, and that's it. The rest of the time is spent in like content creation and administrative things. So I'm not talking to clients every day of the week. I recharge. I take a few hours to myself in the morning just to be and to like restock my creative juices, right? And I only talk to clients a couple to a few days a week. Is that clicking for you a little bit? You've got to see what your expectations are and how much you can handle. So just make a guess. In your perfect world, with your perfect schedule and your perfect life, your dream life, fitting in everything that you want to do, whether it's like me and I want to be in nature 2 hours a day. I like a good hour to get ready because I take a long time, like doing my shower, doing my hair, you know, choosing an outfit. I take my time in the morning. I give myself like an hour to wake up, right? So picture your dream life and let's reverse engineer from there. Is it that you want to work 3 hours a day? Is it that you want to work 6? Is it that you actually enjoy a full 8? You get to pick, and we'll reverse engineer from there. So next point, so point number 3. Many of you already have, or you may already have, a product line in place or something that you want to give to the market, right? So for example, let's just go cosmetics because that's my background, and I'm going to give you a little bit of like behind the scenes, because what I promised in this particular coursework is that some of you want to know, how do you do it from the top to the bottom? How did you figure this stuff out, and how did you learn to run your brand with ease, right? Because it was a long many years where it wasn't easy, right? So if you already have a product line in place that you're taking to the market, it's cool. Like, yeah, you can have that in mind, right? But we're going to do some math on that in a minute. But for the moment, I want to expand past products, okay? Because what the marketplace wants from you is probably not what you're thinking that they want. So in my scenario, I thought people wanted cosmetics. Okay, you may think that they want oils. You may think that they want the perfect protein drink. Like, there's many different people who this applies to. So if you already have a product line in place, that's great, but let's expand past the products, okay? And instead, I want you to think about your own unique gifts. Okay, I want you to list 10 things. Ooh, the power has gone out in our state like 5 times today. Did you hear that? That was phenomenal. Okay, and that went the ring light too, so sorry for that. These things happen in video, okay? And we're live, so we're just gonna keep on going. So for the moment, chuck the product to the side. For me, I had to pretend that makeup was now my secondary. Just chucked it to the side. It's not that I abandoned it because it's the thing that's making cash. So if you already have something that's a vehicle for you to make cash, by no means am I telling you to ditch what makes cash. Keep doing that, but let's expand past the products. And I want you to think of 10 things that are unique to you. Literally write it down. 10 things that are your gifting. I mean things that you know like the back of your hand. Often your gifts are right underneath your nose and you don't even realize that they're your gift because you take them for granted. You've known them for so long. A great example of this is I have a girl, I'm going to use my girlfriend Lucy as an example. A phenomenal woman. She grew up Amish, and so she knows things that are countercultural, life skills that most people don't know, okay? Because she grew up without electricity and they did everything by hand. So it was second nature to her. It was like, oh yeah, I totally know how to do that. And I'm like, how the freak did you learn how to do that? Let's go there. So she knows how to do things like naturally cure the common cold. She can make elderberry syrup, things to like help cure your child without going to the hospital. If you're Amish and you're not going to the hospital all the time, you know some natural cures. Okay, next, she can cook like anything from scratch, made my wedding cake. I don't know if she would have thought about it, but she could have totally had like a cake baking business and slayed the day. Okay, next, she grew up doing things like woodworking. And her family and her husband's family both are expert woodworkers because they made everything. Like they can make you anything from a baby crib to the deck on your house to like a Noah-sized giant ark for your kids to play on in the backyard. Like, they can make some stuff. They make vegetable holders, all kinds of crafty stuff for the house. Then they moved into an RV, and she figured out RV life and redecorated her entire RV because she's passionate about decorating. I talked to her a couple of years ago and I was like, why are you not making live videos? She's like about what? What do I have to talk about? And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're a genius. But because she was so familiar with her brilliance, it didn't occur to her that other women don't know these things and other men don't know these things. So perhaps that's some of my prodding. Perhaps it was just a work in her own soul. She started to actually accumulate a social media following just by starting to talk about things that are second nature to her. Again, your gifts and your unique talents, you probably take them so for granted because you know them like the back of your hand. And you assume everyone else knows them too, but you would be shocked if you just did a quick poll on social media and asked, like, do you guys know anything about this? Or are you kind of clueless? Would it be helpful if I made a video about this? And just see what people have to say. So I want you to do some exploration this week and begin to ask yourself, what are your unique gifts? There are things that are so specific to you that no one else in your friend circle even knows about it. Like, phenomenally specific to you. Things that you can offer that your friends don't know a thing about. And I want you to get really weird. I mean, get weird about it. Like, explore. Do some expansiveness, do some exploration, and begin to ask the question, what type of topics do I know about? And at like a dinner party, people would have no idea what I'm talking about. Get real nerdy and figure out what are your unique gifts, because we're going to use those. Okay? So that was your next piece. I want you to list 10 things that you know, like the back of your hand, because these are your transformations. You're going to hear that word a lot throughout the next 3 months. You're going to hear that word a lot. Beyond whatever product it is that you choose to sell, and you might even change your mind about what you choose to sell, and that's okay. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, don't jump companies, stick with what you got. I bless you and I release you and I say block and delete that, because if you're trying to make something work that's just not working, you can freaking let it go and find something that's profitable for you, because you want to be profit rich at the end of the day. You've got to find something that works for you. So release the old thing of you're a bad person if you company jump, because honestly, if it's not working, it's just not working. It's okay. We can move on. Okay? So let's talk about your transformation, because past the product line that you choose or past the item that you plan to sell, your unique gifts are the transformations that you will actually offer the marketplace. Your transformations, which are your unique gifts, the things that you know that are weird and you choose to share, those transformations are going to be like a magnet for your target client. The weirder you get, the better your niche. You hear that word niche. Some people say it's your niche. Okay, the word is N-I-C-H-E, niche or niche. A good way to remember that is scratch your own itch. Own itch, niche. Scratch your own itch. Meaning, whatever gets you really weird, whatever gets you super passionate, whatever gets you super excited, freaking write it down and talk about that. Because you're going to find that your target person is highly interested in what you are talking about, and it's going to be a natural fit for you. You're going to be able to find people that are your tribe, and whoever doesn't like it, God bless them, but goodbye. A great example of this is I have always been fascinated with health, okay? My Aunt Kathy, which some of you know, she's quite the doll, she would kind of like adopt me in the summers growing up. And I promise this is going somewhere. She was a health freak. and we didn't really have the internet back then. So I would go through all of her books on her bookshelf and read things like Dr. Weil, if you know anything about him, very natural, naturopathic, homeopathic guy, right? I actually had occasion to be on the same property with him when I was an adult, and I was in total shock, right? So I was reading these naturopathic and homeopathic books since I was a teenager. Previously was vegetarian, previously vegan, read these raw foodist books, and I've always been highly fascinated by that form of health, okay? So after we started our cosmetic brand, I just wanted to do an experiment and get weird, right? Because I was scratching my own itch. I had done some Googling and discovered that I thought I might have parasites in my body. And so I found a company that had a parasite cleanse, and I wanted to test my own sales skills. I wanted to test my promotion skills. Now, I personally did not get paid out of this, and in hindsight, I'm okay with that because I just wanted to get some raw numbers and build my audience, and that was cool. I was happy with that. So I personally, on my makeup channel on Facebook, my makeup business page, I did a 3-video series about going through a parasite cleanse, and I linked the brand. The brand was ecstatic. They gave our whole client base a promo code to like buy a parasite cleanse, right? And it increased interest. I found out more of my clients were healthy than I thought. There was a big chunk of my girlfriends that had just gone on a missions trip to Nicaragua, and they needed a parasite cleanse, and parasites came out of their body, as did mine. And so I was scratching my own itch, talking about it live on camera, and it became an even more solid part of our brand. People still talk about the parasite cleanse, and it was like 2 to 3 summers ago, okay? So scratch your own itch, niche, or niche, okay? So I want you to write down 10 things that just make you like ecstatic. You're just like, oh my God, I love Googling about this. I could go down the rabbit hole of YouTube forever about this topic. I love to research this. It's right up my alley. I'm really good at this. My other girlfriends suck at this, or it's just not common knowledge, and you totally nerd out on it. I want you to just write down those 10. So those are your transformations. Those are gifts that you can offer to your client base. They are gifts that you can offer to the marketplace. They are like white on rice, bringing clients to you because people will be fascinated by you, and you will not be selling them a thing except for how fascinating and interesting and magnetic and attractive and funny and brilliant you are. Okay, so let's find out where your brilliance lies. If you're not sure, here's the deal. There's something that we lovingly call resistance. And it happens when you are new at something, when you think you suck at something, when you get the, I don't know, that happens inside of you. Let's go there. Let's talk about resistance really quick. Because the first time that I had a mentor to walk me through this process, and she said, I want you to write this stuff down for me and bring it back to me before our next call. I heard it one day, and it took me like 3 days to do the homework because I was resisting it. I'm like, I hate math. I suck at this. I don't know what they are. I don't know the answers. And when the I don't know comes up, or you find something else to do besides your homework, that's resistance. It shows up many different ways. For some people, they'll get sick. So if that's your MO, if when you feel a shift coming, and you're not certain about the shift and you feel like you're out of control, you start getting little flu-like symptoms, or you find yourself in bed for a couple days, or I know someone who breaks toes whenever a big shift is coming in their life. They literally will just like get clumsy and break a toe. For me, I'm just gonna go there. I eat because I'm really good at cooking and I'm really great at eating. So when I don't feel like doing something, my happy butt wanders to the kitchen and I open the fridge because I'm like, I'm great at cooking. I can make something beautiful and I can eat it, and it's going to be satisfying, and it will take like 2 hours because by the time that you cook it and eat it and clean up after it, you've wasted 2 hours and you've successfully stayed away from the thing that you don't want to do for 2 extra hours. It's like the most amazing procrastination tool ever. eating, okay? It will explain a lot. So let's talk about your resistance. When I'm asking you these questions, if you get a big, I don't know, or you're like, I don't know what 10 things I'm good at. I'm not good at 10 things. I will challenge you to set a timer for 10 minutes and you need to come up with one thing that you nerd out at or you're good at. I want you to just write down one thing per minute. It's okay to be wrong. And here's the fun thing is, it will evolve. What you initially think is going to be your brand, it's going to evolve, and that's okay. Just get something on paper to bring to the mastermind, to bring to the Q&A, to submit on Wednesday, okay? When you start feeling the resistance creep up, just be like, no, we're not resisting. Timer 10 minutes, one thing per minute, boom, and just be done with it. It's okay to be wrong. Big Sis Xtina says it's okay to be wrong. Just get something on the paper so that we have something to work with, okay? Okay. Next, so if those are your transformations to offer to the marketplace, let's go here. Yes, there are things that you might do just to produce content, but then there's going to be like a couple key transformations that they're going to be the bread and butter of your brand. They are going to be the things where you deserve to be paid appropriately because you will find they are your life's work. It might be the crappiest situations you've ever been through in your life, and when you begin to talk about it, it will give other people permission to talk about it and get freedom. And those, my friend, you should be paid for. Mistakes you've made. I make mistakes frequently, especially in business, and I am sharing them because that's part of the transformation that I have to offer. Don't waste $500,000 doing what I did, okay? So that's part of the transformation I have to offer, and it is appropriate for people to pay for that type of training so that they don't make the same mistakes. So as you begin to make that list of 10 that have nothing to do with the product line, just your 10 unique gifts, the 10 things that you're amazing at, we're gonna pinpoint a couple things that are massive transformations that you should be paid for eloquently and elegantly, okay? So that's why this is important to just do the homework, because we're gonna get down to the nuts and bolts of how we can package you and get you cash or whatever your dream life looks like. Is it free time? Is it floating in Bali? Is it a new house? Is it matching cars with your spouse? Is it time with your kids? I don't care what it is for you. That's personal and there's no judgment, but let's get you there, okay? Next, we're gonna go through an expansion exercise, okay? So we're gonna expand far past what anyone has ever told you is appropriate. And I'm gonna give you some calculation tools too, because this was a missing piece. This is like the big sis love that I wish somebody would have just sat me down and said like, okay, babes, like, let's set some goals and let's be realistic on what it's actually going to take, because I don't want you to lowball your goals. Just a very simple fact that you're part of this program means that you have higher goals than the average bear. And so let's make sure that your goal setting is in line with getting you those goals. Okay, so you might be shocked actually when you start to look at it. You might be really shocked and able to make some adjustments, as I was, and that was huge for me getting results. Okay, are you ready for the homework? So far your homework is you're gonna give me the qualifiers of your dream life. That was piece number 1. Okay. Number 2, you're gonna go through and you're gonna tell me 10 things that are just unique gifts to you. They are your 10 transformations. They are the things that you nerd out about. They are your passions, and they may have nothing to do with the product line. Okay, just what are you passionate about? Next, this is the big one, and this is the one that I probably, I've heard that you attract who you are, right? And so I am expecting, just out of a place of sowing and reaping, I'm kind of expecting you guys to have a hard time with this. And who knows, it could be really easy, but knowing that you attract who you are, I'm just gonna give you the lady balls right now to just do this, okay? Your next piece of homework is so important. Like so important. This was the one that took me many days to do, and to be perfectly frank, I woke up in the middle of the night at my dad's house, which for whatever reason I always do. I always wake up in the middle of the night when I sleep at my dad's house. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, had my phone plugged in next to me, and it came to me in the middle of the night. Amazing. So whatever it takes for you to just set a timer and do this, or get completely alone to clear your head and do the math, this is crucial before you come to the mastermind and the Q&A. This is a must do. It's okay if you just start by like numbering your paper. I did it in my cell phone, so I still have my list. I would be happy to share it. If you let me know inside of our mastermind group, if you would like to actually see some examples from my personal list, I numbered a notes section in my phone with like 1 through 50 and just did the exercise at 3 o'clock in the morning when nobody could bother me and my husband was asleep. So whatever it takes for you to get this done, just do it and know that it's okay if you're wrong. But it will expand the way that you think. And it will let you know what it actually takes for you to hit your goals. And interestingly, you might come up with some ideas that will make you go, crap, I've been doing this wrong, and this is going to be way easier than I thought. That was my experience. So on a challenging note, this might be one of those things that you get some resistance on, because I know I did. But on a happy note, it's probably going to give you some ideas that you're going to go like, oh my God, this is so within my grasp. It will blow your mind. Your results are literally so much closer than you think. You floating in Bali is so much closer than you think. You having the free time that you want and the car that you want and all the things that you're picturing, time with your family, the ability to take care of your parents, the ability to give as generously as you want whenever you want and it doesn't hurt you, that is so much closer than you could ever possibly imagine, but we've got to do the math on it, okay? So even if you hate numbers, we're going to do the math. I wish someone would have done the math with me, okay? So here it is. I want you to list 30, count them, 30. Number your paper or your note section in your phone 1 through 30. And I want you to give me 30 ways that you could accrue $10,000 in profits. Not sales. Profits. Just by signing up for month 1 of this coaching, I know that you have a higher end goal than $10,000. You are far over that, okay? So let's begin to think past how can I make $100 today. I want you to think past how can I make $1,000, and I want you to start thinking, like, add a 0 to the end. I want you to start thinking in what will get me to 10,000 fast. I've personally been doing this I guess when I was younger, I used to do it from a place of scarcity and, oh crap, if money wasn't flying in the door, automatically I'm pretty creative and I'm always trying to think of like, what can I do to bring in more clients and have more satisfaction and get our name out there faster? So I used to do this from a place of, oh crap. And now I do it from a place of brilliance and a place of like, okay, we've hit some big goals, let's go bigger. And since we're doing this entire exercise from the top of the mountain, okay, I want you to still be in your dream life. I want you to still be in your dream house. I want you in your dream car. I want you in your dream situation with your dream friends and your dream family. I want you in your dream bliss. When you write these out, write me 30 ways that you could accrue $10,000 in profits. Now here's the fun part. If there's anything that you felt really passionate about from your last list and you go like, I could write an ebook on that, Or if you're going like, I could teach like a 1-day course on that, or I could make a podcast on that, or I could teach workshops in my city at $100 a person or $500 a person. Like, I want you to start thinking in those terms, because what we have been calling your unique gifts, what I have been calling your transformations. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to some new words. That's your intellectual property. That is the gifts that life has given you that you are now knowledgeable about, and you could teach someone else. It could be a pie baking workshop. God bless America. For me, it was, here's how to do your makeup. But we've got to get you to a place of making cash while doing it. So let's do some math on it. We'll get to that in just a second. I want you to first give me your 30 ways that you could accrue $10,000 in profits. So I'm going to give you a calculation for that. I want 10 ways that you could make $20K. And for my VIPs, the girls who are here for a 3-month commitment, I want you to give me 10 ways that you can make $100,000 this year. This is not a 5-year plan. Social media and the internet and the way that marketing is going, you don't need 5 years. This is a 1-year deal, honey. So here's the deal. Profit rich is the goal here. It's not about getting $100,000 in sales, because when you look at the calculations, sometimes that doesn't mean jack squat. I hate to break it to you. So profit rich is the goal. I want you telling me how you can make $100,000 in profit, okay? And if you make this list of 50, so even if you're not here for the full 3 months, in your head, if you're checked out after month number 1, I would challenge you to like put on your big girl pants, right? And I want you to take part in the third aspect as well. I want you to give me 10 ways that you can make $100K this year. Because if you make this list and you make it your goal, you and whoever you hire or whoever's part of your family, thank God I have like the husband of my dreams who gets behind my stuff with me and he helps make it happen, right? If you decide that you are just only going to tackle this list for the next 365 days, your results will blow your mind. It'll blow you away. But I never for the rest of my life, I don't want you thinking about how you can make $100. I want you thinking, how can I make 10K? What's going to give me $20,000 in profits? What could I possibly do to offer such a transformation to the world that I could get $100,000 in profits this year? And I challenge you, we're going to do the math on it, and I want 50 ideas before Thursday. This needs to be turned in Wednesday. So it could take you half an hour to write it out. Some of you are going to blow through this so fast. I think it took me about an hour to do it. And it's okay. It's okay. Because I'm not the fastest sometimes with doing calculations. And it really opened my eyes to the difference between sales versus profits. And this was the missing link for me to actually have cash in the bank versus just make it month to month. So are you ready for the calculation? By the way, I hope this is valuable. This is honestly the stuff that I wish that somebody would have walked me through and just nobody ever did. So I truly hope that this is valuable for you. Okay. Let me make sure that I didn't miss anything. I have notes here just because I had so much on my mind and I could talk about this for 5 days. So I'm trying to make it, we're at 44 minutes right now. I'm trying to make it under an hour. So here we go. Yeah, we got it. Next. All right, now this is the portion of the video that I want to call Do the Math, and you will find this is going to be crucial for you, especially when you start working with clients, because you're going to teach them to also do the math. So today, it's not your client's reality check, it's your reality check. This was my reality check. We're going to do the math. You ready? I think we're ready. I feel ready. Okay, so your goal is not to be sales rich, and here's the problem. If I can be very blatantly honest with you, $500,000 has gone through my hands. $500,000. 500,000. $500,000 went through my hands before I figured this out and made the switch from being sales rich to profit rich, because nobody helped me do the math on what I was working so hard on. I could work 40 hours a week, I could work 60 hours a week, I could work 80 hours a week, and I still had no money in the bank because I didn't understand profit. And I wasn't goal setting from a place of getting profit at the end of it. Here's where people get in trouble with selling a product line. And I hope that before I got on this call, I asked God and all the angels to help me to give you breakthrough and to break the chains off of your mind and to help you to get some like reality check on how to get cash in the bank, okay? So I'm gonna give you some of the best of the mentors that changed my life, and here it is. Sales, they're impressive, but they don't tell the story. You could have someone who made $1 million in sales, but they spent $950,000 to get it, worked their butt off, put their health into crisis, and they have $50K left, and the government wants 30%. So when people tell me that they made $1 million anymore, I don't care. Here's what I'm interested in. What were your profit margins? Again, this is where people get in trouble having a retail-based business that's only retail. And I'm going to break it down for you why. Okay, here's a very clear example to you. Now, we just talked about creating a list of 30 ways that you can make $10,000 in profits. Now, it used to just blow my mind to think, someday I can make $10,000 in a month. Like, that was the epitome. I'm like, oh my God, what is it going to be like when I make 10K in a month? And then I made 10K in a month, and we spent $9K or $9,500 to do it and had a load of debt. And I was like, oh crap. Yeah, that wasn't helpful. And I just worked my butt off. What am I missing? What am I missing? So I don't look at it in terms of how can I make 10K in sales. I make it in terms of this. If it's strictly product based, because some of you have products, right? So let's talk products for a minute and then let's talk about something completely different. Let's be product focused. Take a product. In my world, it was cosmetics. So just for craps and giggles, I'm gonna say, for example, if I sell a product at a 50% profit margin. So if the product costed me $100 and I could sell it for $200, that's a 50% profit margin. Are you following? So your first assignment in doing the math is you need to know your profit margins. If you are in commission-based sales, you need to know what your commission is. And is there a way for you to get it higher? With our brand, we typically pay out about 20% commissions, but if our sales girls hit certain numbers, their commission hikes up. At first it's bonuses, and then they get like 5% increase, so they could be making 25% every month versus 20%. Is that making sense to you? So if there's something inside of your particular product that you're selling, especially if it's a direct sales product, you need to figure out how to max out your comp plan, and that's your goal number one. Like, you need to be figuring out, how do I get there every single month without fail, okay? So first of all, know your profit margins. Where are you sitting? How can you max out to the top? Because that's your goal number one. Next, if we're taking that example of a 50% markup or a 50% profit margin, even if like you're a baker, right? And you know that it costs you $10 to make a cake, you've got to make a minimum of 20 plus your time. Okay, so minimums. You've got to know your profit margins. But for the most part, when you're in commission-based sales, your time doesn't come into the equation at all. You don't get paid for your time. You get paid for your results. So let's just keep it strictly product. If I knew that I needed to make $10,000 in profits at 50% markup, that means that I need to make $20,000 in sales in order for me to take home 10. So the question now becomes, at a 50% profit margin, would I rather help 40 people in a month and make sure that they are getting a $500 package? Or I can get to that same number of $20,000 in sales if I helped 80 people to make a decision to spend $250 with me. Next, if I could get 200 people to choose a $100 transformation with me, I would still get to my $20,000 in sales. Or if I just sold them a foundation, I need 666 people to buy one bottle of foundation. So take that into consideration with your own product line. If you're selling oil and you got one oil and that's all you can close your client on right now, we need to get you envisioning yourself closing them on a bigger package. Because we need a larger package to work with less people for less hours. Is it clicking for you? Is that making more sense? So what in your company is a bigger package? I was shown this by someone phenomenal with vitamins, right? And she said, yes, there's a $150 package and it's accessible to everyone, and it boosts morale for them to see that they can get something and get started at $150. But she never just says, just get one thing for 50 bucks. Like, it's not even an option. She never presents that first. Her top package is $2,000. Okay, I bought the $2,000 package, right? Because I was like, frick, it has everything. Okay, so I want you to be thinking in terms of, if your company doesn't yet have a $500, a $1,000, or a $2,000 package, I need you to make one. You make up the mother freaker package, okay? I need you to go there in your mind and decide, if it's retail based only, how can you get people to escalate to a higher package? Don't worry about closing on them. That's a different video. I just want you to start thinking in terms of, if you sell at a higher price point and you sell a larger package that's going to get people better results out the gate, you don't have to work with 666 people that month. You work with 40 and you still get the same results. Capiche? Is it clicking for you? So as you're making your list of how do I get to $10,000 in profits, I want you to think in terms of, okay, if my markup was 50%, do the math as you're doing your list. If your markup was 50% or your profit margin was 50%, okay, you would need to make $20,000 in sales to take home 10. So you have your choice. You can work with 20 people and sell them a $1,000 package. That's not a lot. You could work with 40 people and sell them a $500 package. Or you could work with 666 people and sell them a $30 item. Okay, so think expansive. Don't worry about how you're going to close them. We're going to show you. Just think in terms of, okay, how many people do I need at a higher package, and write the numbers out for your 10K profits. Also, consider taxes, okay? Because if you've got a lot of write-offs, that's amazing. We write off a lot of our lifestyle, and it works out great for us. That's a whole different video. And by the way, I'm not a tax advisor. I can just tell you what we do. But consider the fact that there's taxes. So on $10,000, you can expect to pay 15 to 30% to the IRS. So don't be so blown away by, like, oh wow, I can make $10,000 in sales. You might only keep $1,000. So don't lowball yourself. Go big. Think about how do you get 10K in profits. I'm going to close it out by saying this. A mentor of mine in Los Angeles once told me, and let me make it clear, this woman, she was like the innovator of creating airbrush makeup. She like invented it. And she would go on sets and she would style people, etc., etc. She's part of the makeup union in Los Angeles, and that doesn't pay cheap. They do a great job with hourly. But she told me, you know what, chick? You can survive on service or you can retire on retail. So you bet I met her by taking one of her makeup classes, and the way that you got in the makeup class was you bought like $300 worth of product. Then you were hooked on her product line, right? If you were going to do airbrush makeup on your clients, you now knew how to work her air gun. Not everyone's air gun. You knew how to work with her products. You knew all the coolest stuff about her line, correct? And so her deal was she sold online, she taught classes, and so she had a product line. She was like, you can survive on service. So if you want to work hourly for the rest of your life, you can survive. But if you have a retail aspect to your brand, you can retire because that money keeps on coming as long as you've got your client base. Now, that made sense, and I tried it. So we launched, a retail aspect to our brand, and we made it full circle by going and doing some classes, but still I didn't understand the profit margins part, and that's how $500,000 fell through my hands, because I didn't understand profit margins. I literally would price a class for how can I break even and not owe anything at the end, and often unforeseen expenses would come up and I would be left with a bill at the end. I promise you, it happened all the time. So instead of thinking in terms of what do I need to make it, I want you to always be thinking in terms of what will it take for me to profit 10K from this venture. And I would take that adage that she gave me of you can survive on service or you can retire on retail, and I would say, now I know better, and I think you need the best of both worlds. After trying her method, I realized that you can get wealthy when you do the two simultaneously. When you provide a massive transformation to the marketplace, that's your service to the world. That's why the freak God put you here. That's what you were born to do. What are you passionate about? Let's get those 10 things that make you nerd out like crazy, and let's put that as part of your package. Because those are intellectual pieces of property that you get paid for, and you have really no outgoing expense and no product to fulfill. This coaching is a prime example of that. I'm teaching you my life's work. I'm teaching you backwards and forwards, from the top to the bottom, inside and out, how to run a brand and make it successful. And it took me $500,000 to figure it out. Now, there's things in your life that is it for you. It's taking you years to figure it out, and you're brilliant at it. So let's find and package those things. That's your intellectual property. When you combine it with a product line or retail, and someone else does the order fulfillment for you, you have a match made in heaven. That, in my opinion and in my experience, has brought more wealth than anything I've ever tried before. Okay, so for your homework, let's go. Aspects of your dream life, I want them listed out. 2, I need your 10 hidden skills, your unique things that are your transformations to the world, because those are your transferable successes. Those are the places where you've already won and you're going to teach someone else how to win. Next, how much do you actually desire to work, and how many people do you really want to help? When it comes down to the bottom of it and you're at the mountaintop of your life looking down, how many people do you actually want to talk to every week? What works for you? It's going to be different from everyone, and there's no judgment. Just be honest with yourself. Next, I want 50 ways to accrue cash faster with a combination of services and transformations plus retail. And you got to do the math, because I want profit, not sales. Tell me profit. How do you get 10K in profit, 20K in profit, and $100,000 in profit? It'll blow your mind because it's going to come to you. Now you must answer this final question. What do you do when you get resistant? You need to know that about yourself. Please email me your answers and we'll see you on Thursday.